Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele Alignay. Magandang araw sa inyo. It's another Thursday. It's a very good day to talk about a topic that is a continuation of our this week's topic on adult self-worth. I would like to share with you some areas kung bakit natin importanteng matutunan ng self-worth. I know that this topic it's very broad. Parang ano ba yan? Mahalaga ba yan? Parang lagi ko na lang naririnig yan, pero how important is self-worth in a relationship? So I would like to ask you, friends, I know that I talked about this the other day, but I would like to ask you, sa mga nandito na, mga nanonood na, tulad ni Car Manuel, I would like to ask you, uh, if you are to be in a relationship na matithreaten yung buo mong pagkatao, okay, how would you be? Or kung nasa relasyon ka at sa tingin mo nasa-threatened na yung kung sino ka, yung pagpapahalaga sa sarili mo, how would you be? Because I would like to share with you, sa dami ng nangyayari ngayong pandemya, that even if we're home, that's the more, and there's so many challenges that we are bracing through, the more that our self-worth is actually being compromised, being at risk, and mas lalo natin makikita yung halaga niyan. Self-care is self-worth. Okay, bigyan natin ng isang example. So, kung meron na kayo, ready na kayo makipagdaldalan, friends, tungkol sa topic na to, this is a hot topic that I like talking about. I would like to ask you, ano ang sa tingin nyo na nagiging epekto sa mga nandito ng mga Biba friends, what do you think are the effects of a person with very low self-worth sa isang relasyon? Sa inyo muna syempre manggaling. If you are in a relationship with a person na mababa yung self-worth, at risk yung self-worth, compromise ang self-worth, kulang na kulang ang self-worth, anong nangyayari sa relasyon? For example, boyfriend-girlfriend, for example din sa marriage, even sa barkada, and even in relationship with colleagues. Alam niyo yun, you are in the workforce, bakit natin pag-uusapan yung self-worth? Trabaho lang yung usapan natin. But honestly, even if you are in your team, even if you are in an organization, with the talks that I've been doing, I do corporate speaking engagements. That's actually my line of work. And aside from schools and corporations, and with all these things that's happening, that the boss can be very demanding to the team, na parang always, narinig ko na isa sa sentimiento, that they're using gratefulness, the term be grateful, may trabaho kayo. But then the team, maybe mga staff, they feel that kahit na may trabaho kami, pero kung burdened naman kami or burning out already, and then it becomes very difficult. So, victim mentality ang partner kung mababa ang self-worth. Yes, that's one. I like that. Victim mentality. Paano ba tong victim mentality? Feeling niya lagi siya yung kawawa. 'Di ba? Parang, ay, ako na naman, ako yung wala kasi kayo mas mayaman, may pinag-aralan, mas alam nyo yan. So there's that thing that he is always the victim, or he's always at the losing end. Tama yan. Another one, hindi to halata. Yung tinatawag na codependency, I think I mentioned this the other day, the you complete me syndrome, that we feel that the other person will complete our needs. We feel that the other person will be the savior of the family. The other person completes the family. The other person is the one that's the missing link in the marriage. That is so critical. That is so critical. Because come to think of it, what if nawala na isang tao? Nawala na yung taong mahal mo. Di hindi na kompleto. Kaya if you see, meron ba kayong na-encounter? Mga friends, ladies, did you ever encounter people who's going through from one relationship to another? Meron dyan lumang kanta. I think I put it down in my book, The Beauty of 40. It's, papahulaan natin sa mga nandito na. The song by Maureen McGovern. Kilala niyo yon? Car and Friends, kilala niyo yon? that's that old song that I really love the lyrics, but come to think of it, it's actually this that you complete me syndrome, and they're looking for relationship. They're looking people, women, some women, and even men are looking for their completeness through another relationship, through one relationship to another. But that song is I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. 'Di ba? Yan, tama Bel, I've never been to me. Yan eh, I've never been to me. Ni hindi ko kinalala sarili ko. Ni hindi ko pinahalaga ng sarili ko. I've been to paradise, I've been everywhere, but I've never been to me. So kung alam niyo yan, and come to think of it also, if you are in, if a person with low self-worth, sometimes dyan lumalabas yung, natawa naman ako dito, Jean. I often wonder kung paano sila nakaka-move on. Hindi sila nakaka-move on, ginagawa nila the void left by the other person, pinupunuan nila ng isa. So their goal is to fill themselves. I've heard that many times, hindi ko kayang mabuhay ng walang kasama. Pero I cannot live without a man. It's that hindi sa walang kasama. Hindi ko kayang mabuhay ng wala ka. Yan. Hindi ko kayang mabuhay ng wala. The other song by like how do I live without you? And if you look at songs pa lang, if you look at songs, we've been so programmed that a relationship has to be dependent on another person. That we cannot be fully happy without another person. May mga kanta kayong naiisip na ganyan. Ako that song, yan, that old song, and then the other one that says, how can I live without you? I want to know. Yeah, that's how can I ever survive? Well, we will survive. Mahirap. Pero mas mahirap kung if we are totally dependent on our worth to another person, even if they're our family, even if they're our even if they're our partner. If you try to think of it, ayan, paano ba ang mag-isa? To be a Filipino version. Sige nga, friend, kantahin mo yan. So, tingnan natin. Another thing, ano pa yung nangyayari? Meron din tinatawag na overfunctioning. I think I have a separate podcast or I have a separate episode before in overfunctioning. Yung they would like to take care of everything, and they feel that if there are people who feels that they're codependent and they cannot live with another person, some people would like to function for everything, do everything because they want to feel needed. They want to feel important. Ah, they would like to feel that they are valuable and they make a contribution kahit na to the point that they are disabling. Ito madalas to sa parents. Disable na nila yung mga anak because their sense of self-worth is actually serving to the point of over-functioning, na nawawala naman ng opportunity for the kids, for the adult children to function on their own as an individual, because the over-functioning tendency of the parents, it's sidestepping their worth. Hindi na nabuo yung anak kasi in-overfunction na ng parents. Do you get what I mean? Jean is saying, you are so bright about these love songs. It's like being conditioned. In my counseling class when I was taking my MA, the professor asked us to do this, a song analysis. Write down all the songs which have dysfunctional meanings. Siguro gagawin ko yan soon. Magandang article yan, Jing, no? So gagawin natin yan soon. Maganda rin yung episode. Kung meron kayong suggestions ng song, i-type nyo lang dito. Okay, so nabigay ko na yung dalawa. I've never been to me, at saka how do I live without you. Isip pa kayo ng iba. So another one, if you see people who are overly sensitive. Nako, ang daming ganito ngayon. Yung sa Tagalog, makanti mo lang, may maririnig ka na. Yung bang para kang there's a Tagalog for that. Yung para kang nanununtungan sa numero. Para kang nanununtungan sa numero, or kaya nanunulay sa, ano nga ba yun? Nanunulay sa alambre. So, you have to think about that. If this person is overly sensitive, they think that everything is about them. But in reality, it's not really about them. And also, some people who have poor sense of self-worth, pag may issue kang binato, ang nangyayari, binabatuhan nila ng ibang issue. They do not want to confront the issue because they do not want other people to see their own insecurities, their lack of sense of self-worth. Hindi na talaga kilala kung sino sila. Wala talaga silang pagpapahalaga sa sarili. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So, I would like you to reflect about these things. I would like you to reflect about these things. Did you see people like this? It may be around you. There may be your friends. They may be actually sometimes even our relatives and family members. No. So here there are some people can be codependent. People can be over functioning. People can be overreactive, and people are overreactive or overly sensitive. And the other one, people are very there's the self there's very self-centered, itago natin sa Tagalog na parang conceited, self-centered, or they're just too focused on themselves. But what I need you to realize is that they're so centered because they think of themselves na sila yung magaling. Pero in reality, they don't want na mabuking. So I don't know if who among you knows people like this. Let's see to that, di ba? So let's move on in our discussion. So what we need to realize is that how can we increase sa dami? Hindi nga natin makikita yung I think hindi na yung self-worth natin na validate if we are in a very good position. If we are successful, if people are giving us you see me, you're giving me validation with everything that you're saying. Pero mas masusukat natin kung we have a healthy sense of self-worth. Sorry, I got we cannot measure a person healthy sense of self-worth if they are in that position of success. We can measure a person's healthy sense of self-worth if they are in a position of crisis. Kasi makikita dyan na natanggal yung role. May naalis sa buhay, may nabago, there's challenges. You know, when I was doing counseling, for some reason, a lot of the clients that I was seeing before are women. So they're either married or they're either their concern is either the marriage or the kids. You know, but at the back of every issue, it's always the worth of the mom or the wife. It's always at risk. Lagi merong parang may nangyari sa self-worth nila. That's why they found themselves in the middle of the crisis situation. Minsan yung parang we have this, we conducted this session, and then there's this woman, a very accomplished woman, who approached me and told me that um, it's her, she's older, I think she's about 60s, and then what she realized that I realize now I'm sick because I did not value myself. Hindi ko pinahalagahan yung sarili ko. Kaya friends, that's a challenge for everyone. No matter where we are, no matter what journey we have. Kanina I was talking to a friend, and then we were just, sharing na kanya-kanya talaga tayo lang ng struggles na pinagdadaanan natin. Kanya-kanya tayo ng burdens, kanya-kanya tayo ng cross. But come to think of it, this sense of self-worth, if I may speak in a spiritual aspect, is that yes, it is measured. Thank you, Glenda, for noting. It's a healthy sense of self-worth is measured if if a person is in crisis. But this measure of self-worth, it also measures our relationship with Christ. It also measured our spiritual depth. 'Di ba? Kasi it's not just about us. When we are in the middle of nerve-wracking pit bottom experience or rock bottom experiences, parang feeling natin our lives are being pulled apart. And then if our worth is so connected with our role, uh, our career, everything around what we're doing, what I can do, kung lahat doon naka-plaster yung self-worth natin, what will be left if lahat yan mawala? And I believe that the best measure of the best anchor, the best foundation bago ako mag-move on of our self-worth is when we have a very good relationship with our God, because actually the only the only most credible source, infinite, eternal, forever sense of self-worth that we can anchor ourselves to is only the Lord. Whatever religion we have, it only our God. Okay? So come to think of it, check it out. Check it out. Because I would like you to realize saan naka-anchor yung ating worth. Other people, maybe you can look for literature and psychology and says and see all this that it can be up to us. Other religion we thought so, but me being a Catholic right now, I'm speaking from this perspective. But whatever religion that you have also, that is kasi that's the only infinite source. We cannot actually own it kasi that worth is already given to us. So come, let's go to how can we increase our feelings of self-worth, knowing that self-worth is already in us. It has been established. It has been there, and we have we are adults already. Kaya mas naiintindihan na natin itong mga konseptong to. It has been there and it's up to us to continuously take care of it, guard it, boost it because, 'di ba? We are God's beloved. Binigay na sa atin 'yan. It has been bestowed on us already. So, first, I have some points. So, I have an A B C D E for you today. So, what can we do? Ways to increase our sense of self-worth. The first one, awareness. We have to be aware. What I'm saying, the last episode, yung where are we anchoring our worth? The wrong areas where we're anchoring our worth. Awareness. Saan mo ba ina-anchor? So kung mali yung anchor natin, and then check, are we anchoring also our worth in God? It may be good to value ourselves in terms of our family, in terms of our achievements, in terms of many things out externally. But it has to have that anchor, yung pundasyon niya, yung rootedness niya. Okay, and that is one, awareness. The second is that be mindful of our thoughts. Be mindful of our thoughts. That's B. Without us being aware of where we are, check that last time's episode, we have to be mindful of our thought patterns. For example, that are we mindful of how we're doing it? We're belittling ourselves, parang telling ourselves there are thought patterns in our head that saying that wala tayong kwenta. Ayan. So also be mindful of our thoughts that we have that tendency to go by the bandwagon. You know what I mean? You have to be mindful of our thoughts kung saan natin nakikita yung thought patterns natin na parang, okay, ito ba ako? Ito ba ako? This is a good affirmation. This is a good affirmation. This is a good invitation. Ang ganda nito invitation na to. Wait, teka lang, bago ko madala, di ba minsan ganun tayo, yung parang we're thinking way too much and we're over-analyzing too much to the point that it's not becoming healthy. So the first one is awareness. The second, being mindful of our thoughts, but not just our thoughts. Be mindful of the posture of our hearts. Be mindful of the posture of our spirits. Saan natin talaga ina-anchor yan. So the one is awareness. Second is be mindful. The second, change the inner story or change the inner narrative. Dito ko pala i-apply yung sinasabi natin. Meron tayong automatic tapes. Automatic tapes na programmed sa atin. Maybe when we were younger. Sinasabi na, wala tayong kwenta, hindi mo kaya yan, babae ka lang, ayan. Maybe there are narratives that has been placed there that is actually making us weak. Maybe there are narratives there in our head that's making us feel we are worthless. Di ba? You are the victim, wala ka naman, hindi mo naman yan kaya. So, because of that, being mindful of our thoughts and our spirit, we have to know, okay, this thought is trapping me today. So changing the inner narrative, teka lang, wait, hindi ito helpful. Change the tape, change the pattern. You deviate, okay? Maybe I was a victim, but later on I will be victorious. Okay, I am afraid right now, but I am affirming myself na kaya ko to. So while you are mindful, you are already catching the tapes. na nangyayari dyan. So, when you start being mindful, you're aware, you be mindful, and then you can change the inner narrative, especially the unhealthy stories, the unhealthy narratives, the pre-programmed tapes that are not life-giving and no longer hindi na natin kailangan sa panahon ngayon. Are you still with me, friends? Hindi natin kailangan yung tape na yan. Hindi na yan. Those are garbage already. So we know how to let go of them. And then number, so the first one, awareness. Second, be mindful. Third, change the inner narrative. Fourth, don't compare. Alam nyo, isa sa pinaka-worst thing that we can do to ourselves. I always share this with you, friends, here in Coffee Break is to compare. To compare, we have a very, a culture that is very much into comparison. We have to emphasize our gifts actually. We have to emphasize na ito yung kailangan nating we have to realize that we're not supposed to compare because yung susunod dyan is that we have to emphasize our gifts. Sometimes we get stuck in the D, in I'm saying don't compare. We get stuck here. We keep comparing. Kasi yung kapatid ko, kasi ganito na yung narating niya. My God, sabi ko, if we're going to compare ourselves with everyone, we're gonna go crazy, right? We're not going to honor the real us because we will be a portion only of other people if we keep comparing portion nito, portion niyan, ginaya ko dito, ginaya ko dyan. So there's no more us, but losing the us. We lose ourselves in the process if we keep comparing. Gusto ko yung ilong niya, gusto ko yung mata niya, ay gusto ko yung cheekbones noon, pagaya ko. So, di ba? You will be like, what do you call that? Like a patchwork. But you're not really authentically us because we keep comparing. So why not just don't compare, change your inner narrative, don't compare yourself because kahit na may mas magaling sa atin, iba pa rin tayo. Tama? Kahit na pareho tayo ng trabaho eh, pareho tayo ng experience eh, pareho tayo ng competency, pero iba naman yung dating at iba yung uniqueness, iba yung unique gifts that we bring to the table. So, uh, So now, the next thing is that from don't compare, the fifth one is emphasize our gifts. Emphasize our gifts. Ayan. Ito yung sinasabi na, you look at what you can do. Because we're always looking na hindi ko kaya to, hindi ko kaya. So, anong kaya natin gawin? Parang ang babaw, parang ang high school, pero alam nyo, sa totoo lang, nagsisimula itong lahat sa high school eh. Doon nagsisimula yung self-identity journey natin. Kaya natin naman nalalaman kung saan tayo magaling. Car, you're saying I had to do a self-assessment that I should be a better version of myself now that I'm getting older. Agree, and I'll also agree with you that I'm not comparing myself, only comparing myself, my old self to my new self. Tama. Ang ikukumpara lang natin ay ang sarili natin then and now. We should be evolving. Pwede rin palang not just emphasize the gifts, but evolve the gifts. Yang, you're saying you are unique in our way. We should celebrate that and be grateful. Agree. So, hi Michelle, don't be either a mimic of someone else. True. So that's E. Sabi nga ni Glenda, emphasize our gifts. Okay, friends, bago ako magpatuloy, ano ang gift that you would like to emphasize with yourself? Ngiti mo ba? Your way of dealing with people. Ako, at sa tingin ko, yung daldal ko in connecting you with you. Na, I believe that this is a gift na yung kahit na we are virtual, I feel that magkaharap lang tayo kaya nagkakape tayo dito right now. I believe that the gift of connecting personally and virtually, that's a unique gift that I have. Other people can do it, but they're not me. Diba? Kanya-kanya tayo. So can you type there in the comment section what gift is it that you would like to emphasize and declare to the world? So that's E. Before, and then number 6. Number 6. F. Forgive. Ang lalim naman, Doc. Friends, patawarin din natin yung sarili natin. Kung we are mean to ourselves before. Patawarin mo na rin yung kamag-anak natin, our relatives, our friends, even our teachers, or some people who don't know us better but think lowly of us. They have wrecked our worth when we were younger, but now I believe that it's already our responsibility to uproot us. They don't know any better. Maybe they're coming from their own wounds. So we have to first forgive ourselves. Second, you have to forgive that person. Even if you don't necessarily have to go to that person, you just have to maybe utter a prayer that they don't know any better. So I am forgiving them. Right? So that's F. Let us see your gift. I'm God's beloved. Car, my gift, they said, is that I have a unique way to gather people. Oo nga, Car, you are a people gatherer. Yang, my gift of making people better by sharing my time to them. Oo nga, tinan mo, nandito ka na naman. See you on September 18. Belle, I always do Hapono meditation. Hapon pono meditation in the morning. It helps. Yeah, Jing. True to forgiving ourselves. Okay, that's really true. Number 6, forgive. 7, get moving. Totoo ba yan, Doc? Kasama sa self-worth yung get moving? Yes, get moving physically and get moving psychologically. You have to grind. You have to move. You have to exercise. Because when we exercise, we know that it's a way not to be vain, not to be fit, but it's actually moving the body. It's actually a way to do self care and a way that we increase the feelings of the good feeling that we have. And also, it's a way to increase the level of hormones that we need, the happy hormones that we need. So it's very important. Get moving physically and psychologically so that we move ourselves physically so that we will not get stuck. We will not get sick. We move ourselves psychologically, meaning we grow. We grow. Parang okay, hindi na pwedeng ito. Kailangan ko na mag-evolve. Kumbaga, kailangan ko na mag-evolve sa pandemic version 3. Naka-version 1 na tayo, version 2. Ito na yung version 3. Hindi na nag-work yung version 1. Ito na tayo ngayon. Dapat mag-work na. So, get moving. So, friends, kung meron pa rin sa inyong hindi nag-move while in this pandemic at hindi pa rin nag-evolve. Hello, version 3 na tayo, season 3 na. So you have to learn to really evolve at we cannot just wait for it to end because it looks like we cannot see the end in sight soon. Okay? So that's it. Get moving. Number 8. And then the last one. Heal from your circumstances. Heal from your circumstances. If we learn to forgive, we heal from past circumstances that we are not in control of, that has battered our worth. We have to acknowledge na nasaktan ako, circumstances that I did not choose, parang nawala yung buo kong pagkatao at pagpapahalaga sa sarili. So I need to learn to heal. Ah, we all heal from different areas. Maybe a loss, maybe some grief, maybe depression, loneliness, maybe from a sickness. So we heal and recover. And friends, you have to be kind to yourself, especially if you went through a very difficult situation, traumatic and life-changing events. You have to learn and you have to acknowledge that in order for you to restore your worth, yung mga nawala or to revisit our adult self-worth, you have to heal. But there's another age that I would like to uh, uh, I'll just add this. This is number 9. We have to believe in this. Kinabi ko na dito. I'm God's beloved. Can we all say that? I'm God's beloved. How do we increase our feelings of worth every day? We have to tell and affirm ourselves that I am God's beloved. That's the prayer we had at the feast declaration. I am God's beloved. I am God's gusto ko lang yun. That's plain statement. I am God's beloved. Because when we know that when we're God's beloved, unang-una, we have been beefed up by His love. And when we are beefed up by God's love, we become God's servant. Kasi pinuno niya na tayo. And no, we know how to give. We know how to share. I'm God's servant and we are God's powerful champion. I am God's beloved, we cannot forever look at our worth from external sources, because the core measure of our worth, the main measure, the main component of our worth is actually in our God, in the Lord, in Jesus, in the faith that we hold on to. So, kahit na sabihin natin, parang ang babaw ng self-worth, Doc Etchel, no. That is so deep. It affects your work. It affects a lot of relationships. It affects even your parenting your kids, lalo na yung mga parents, no, na na yung self-worth nila kasi para silang, sorry, I had to say this, nagmi-midlife, nako-confront yung issues nila and nako-question yung worth nila. You have to really sit down again and to reassess. So let's go back to that 9 areas, ways to increase your feelings of worth. One is awareness. Second, be mindful. Be mindful. The third, change your inner narrative. Fourth, don't compare. And fifth, emphasize your gifts. Six, forgive. Seven, get moving. Eight, heal from your circumstances. And then nine, know that I am God's beloved. Tama yan, Glenda. We cannot give what we don't have. So, friends, I know that a lot of people are struggling with their worth right now. So I know that you might have friends who might be needing this video, so you can share it with them. Also, you can share the points that you heard from me. And I would like to ask you if there is one main point or one main takeaway that you would like to capture for this episode that gusto mong baunin this weekend hanggang next week at gusto mong baunin at ilagay sa journal mo, can you type it first in the comment section? I hope that this episode has helped you. And if you feel blessed with this episode, feel free to share your gifts through stars. You may send your stars as your digital gifts to me so that I can continue with the mission here at Coffee Break. And my last announcement is that it's there's only 1 week left before we close the registration for my workshop, Martha's Boss Beauty and Being workshop. Body and Being, not Beauty and Being, Body and Being. That's really I am cracking my brains for this. This is really restoring our well-being despite the difficult situation, restoring our worth and well-being despite all the crisis situation that we are in. So this is actually for women, ladies, titas, ates, friends like you. So please do join me. The registration fee is only 890 for this exclusive workshop. So please, we are running this on September 18, but registration will close on September 10. And I hope that you will join us because I'm going to tell you, this will be like a self-journey. Hindi lang ako magsasalita, pero kayo ang kayo ang magsasalita. Kayo ang magsasalita sa sarili nyo. I will just be your facilitator that session. Okay. Belle, you're asking, can you transfer via GCash? I don't know which one you're asking. You can send me a direct message or email here at my Facebook page. It's that the Martha's Boss, because in the Martha's Boss, it's not me who's handling the registration. So you have to go to this link to be able to access it. So let me just share the link in the chat. Okay, and lastly, that's I think my last announcement. Okay, friends, very good. So continue following. I think I'm almost in my 7,000 followers here in Facebook, but you can also share the YouTube of Michele Alignay and the Spotify. So sa mga gustong makinig lang at chumismis habang nagtatrabaho, please do so. I hope that you join me next week for another interesting topic. Let's talk about more about relationships this month. And I hope that we continue to help each other. You sending me stars and me sharing this to you, it's a way for us to support and continue the mission of helping people have healthy relationships, healthy well-being, and healthy faith life. This is Dr. Michele Alignay for Coffee Break. Magandang araw sa inyo lahat.